Cuba is heavily reliant on oil for its electricity, and it has long had to import most of it. The Soviet Union was its main supplier until that country's fall. Cuba then began to rely heavily on Venezuela. That supply was cut off in January following the U.S. capture of Nicolas Maduro. Shortly after, Mexico stopped sending oil under pressure from the U.S. as well. Cuba got a brief reprieve in March when a shipload of Russian oil arrived. However, that supply has also run out. Jorge Pinon is a senior research collaborator at the University of Texas at Austin's Energy Institute. He worked in the energy sector. He joins us live now. Just in terms of what is unfolding in Cuba, I mean, I think this is exactly what a lot of people predicted would happen when it was announced that the U.S. was going to make sure that Venezuela stopped supplying Cuba with oil after capturing Nicolas Maduro. Patrick Ottman laid out really what life is like at this point in time for ordinary Cuban citizens. It's not just about having blackouts in the evening and not having access to electricity. It's also about the food in your fridge spoiling. I mean, it affects every single aspect of your life. And I think that one of the things that is important as a takeaway here is, as we watch the war in Iran unfold and what's happening in Cuba, we're learning a lot about the importance of energy independence. And, you know, my understanding, according to some reports on the island, is that Cuba is really trying, I mean, albeit too late, but it is trying to accelerate its reliance on renewables. It's trying to sort of push itself towards solar energy in certain key areas. Just walk us through what you know of that effort.
Well, it's a good effort. I think any emerging economy in the world ought to have a balanced electric regeneration matrix, and solar and wind and biomass are certainly part of that equation. Regrettably, Cuba's system is broken, and in fact, the minister earlier this week announced that of the 1,300 megawatts of solar capacity that the country has, only about 580 megawatts, or less than 50%, is actually generating power. But Cuba's woes with electricity goes back for many years. Some of the electric power plants that run on oil are over 40 years old with very little maintenance. And now, with the lack of diesel, even distributed generation is impacted. And remember, it's not only generation, as Patrick said, it is also transportation. The tractors in the agricultural sector cannot run and operate. So the situation now, it is critical. We thought earlier this year that hora cero, or the 0 hour, was going to be in the month of March. But somehow Cuba still has survived. But we think the situation today is certainly very drastic.
And I think it's also important to remind our audience that Cuba's economic troubles didn't just start in January, when the U.S. announced that Venezuela would no longer be allowed to send oil to Cuba, and that Mexico was probably going to be allowed to send humanitarian aid, but certainly not oil. That wasn't the beginning of Cuba's economic issues. I mean, obviously, it has had long battles with inflation. It's had uneven power distribution and a really sort of difficult reliance on just consistent electricity for a very long time. Just explain to us what Cuba was grappling with even before January of this year.
Well, the problem with Cuba over the years is that always rely on dependency of other countries that were giving them either subsidized oil or free oil. As you said early on, the Soviet Union, there was a trade between sugar and oil. Then came Hugo Chavez, which was again a trade between services, doctors and teachers and so on, for oil. Then came Mexico with at least 2022 and 2025, as much as 20,000 barrels a day of oil. Then sporadically over the years, we have had the Russian crude oil and Russian products coming to the island. So Cuba has generally depended on third parties to provide them with subsidized fuels to run their electric power generation. They were late to solar power. And solar power only came about because China is actually donating most of the 21.8 megawatt plants that have been built across the country. Look at biomass and sugarcane. That's a huge potential. Brazil today supplies 6% of their electricity from sugarcane biomass. Cuba's sugarcane industry has basically disappeared. Last year, for the first time in its history, Cuba had to import sugar. So even sugar biomass, which is a huge contributor to a electric power generation, is not there today.
Right, Jorge Pinon, thank you so much for breaking that down for us. We appreciate it.